She hands me one of the bundles that had been sitting on those shelves. She puts it in my arms, and I look down at it, and it's a baby swaddled in a blanket. It's a baby. And it has overly large eyes, and it's very skinny. But I look in those eyes, and my mother instincts, they kick in. And I know she's mine. She tells me to name her, and I do. I name her Petal. And I know she's my child. So then the beings escort me down away from them, and I realize then that the room also contains a bunch of small round white tables that just grow out of the floor. And there's little white chairs next to them that grow out of the floor. And I sit at one of them. And I notice that there's other people there, men and women, holding little bundles, looking at them, just loving them. And I realize that's why I'm there, is to love her, to give her the human love that I have, that I give to my own children. And I know what I'm doing is important and necessary. And I know that I've agreed to do this. I want to do this. I'm doing this for them because I am them. I've come here for a purpose. They told me, she told me, I am here to bring love, to show compassion, to help others who are having this experience, to understand that we're not victims. This is not happening to us. This is happening for us. And we are here for humanity.
Welcome back to In Conversation With, and we have Barbara, and I don't want to get your last name wrong. Can you please pronounce it for us correctly?
In German, it's pronounced Eberhardt. In English, they say Eberhardt.
Eberhardt. Okay.
Eberhardt. Yeah.
And we just know you as Barbara. And
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
thank you very much for doing this show. And it's very important because you have amazing experiences, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have experiences like yours, which some people consider going too far. And as a result, the people who don't have experiences, who say that some of us go too far with what we're saying about our experience, keeps other people who have similar experiences for coming forward.
Right,
And
yeah.
in you're doing this, you give comfort to them, and
Yeah.
also they become less afraid to talk about what they know, which is very important to understanding the close encounters experience, because you can get a crash saucer with nuts and bolts on it, and you can maybe learn something from it, not much. But if you really want to know what's going on with this experience, you need to talk to the people who have been inside that craft and
Right.
have talked to these beings. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for doing this. um, Barbara, if you can start by giving us a little background on yourself and how this all began for you, it would
Yeah.
be
Okay.
greatly
Well,
appreciated.
I was born in 1943 during the bombings of Berlin, and I was an hour old, rushed into the bomb shelter, and a week old, we were uh, all women with small children had to leave Berlin, and my mother went to a little village, and that's where I grew up till I was about 5, and then we moved back to Berlin. Anyway, my parents and we immigrated to Canada for 5 years, came back to Germany, Then I met my future husband, and we immigrated to San Francisco in 1965. Lived there for 20 years. And during that time, I had five so-called miscarriages. Um, then we got divorced after my son. I have a son here, on an Earth son. And after he was born, we got divorced, and then I moved back to Germany for 10 years, took care of my parents, my child, and worked. Came back to the United States after my parents had passed away, and then lived in Northern California because I didn't want to raise my son in the Bay Area. He was 13 at the time, and it wasn't the right way to go to big schools, I think. So I moved to Northern California, and got in a little place there and everything. I loved it there. Um, Worked for a company there, and everything was fine. And anyway, when I was 75 years old in 2018, I went back to Germany for a visit, and there I had a download. Um, I was visiting, and at night I had a download, one picture after another, in very fast succession and very intense. Like I would ride on a horse over a prairie, and the next thing I knew, I was swimming underwater. I was forging metal. It was crazy, and I couldn't stop it, and I couldn't get out of it, and finally I just blacked out. And so I in the morning I came to, and I was totally exhausted. I had no idea. I thought I was losing my mind. What else can you think?
Yes.
Because until then, I had no idea about anything. And my son was there, and he flew back 3 days later to back to California. I said, "I'm coming back home with you. I cannot stay the other 3 weeks I had planned. In this condition, I cannot travel on my own in Germany. I don't know what's going to happen." So we got back to California, drive onto my property. I had 5 acres. I just remodeled all my house for old age, not climbing the stairs, but just walking up the stairs, the stuff like that. And and I come to my property, and I say to my son, "I'm going to sell the property and move to Willits." No idea where that came from. I never had that thought before in my mind, but at that moment, I was convinced that's what I had to do. And see if that's exactly what I did. And I started dissolving my whole property, selling everything off. And in 2019, I moved in April. I got a little apartment for this senior housing there and moved to Willits. And the first week I was there in my new apartment, it was online, ordering some books from Amazon. And one book jumped out on me, Chosen by Yvonne Smith.
Oh, yes.
I said, "Oh, that looks interesting." So I put it in the basket. And when the books came, that was the first one I read. And towards the last third of the book, there were two people that had downloads like me. And one of the guys said, after the download, I had to sell my property and move to another town. And my jaw dropped.
Yes. I've heard this many times before, and I'm sure you have by now as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're being directed. It was
Hmm.
like a wake up. And like I said, I was 75 years old at the time, had no idea. So I contacted Yvonne. She was a speaker at Contact in the Desert. So I went down, and we met there. And right after the conference there, I went to her office, and I had my first hypnotic regression because I wanted to find out what happened. And so that is when everything started in my life to totally fall apart, but I had been believed on it before that. Um, Basically, I found out that the first contact I had was when I was 3 years old in Germany. They came and healed us. We had the Russian pox that was because we were Russian occupied area there where we lived. And the pox were not the chicken pox, it was really bad pox. It
Mm.
leave those big pock marks. And they came one night, and under hypnotic regression, you relive everything. So I was like a 3-year old. I was standing in my little crib bed, and there was this light coming through the window, and it stopped in front of me, and two beings materialized, and they had a black box with a
A
line of
black box.
a black box with a line of green light and red light, and was pulsating.
Wow.
And um,
You're
I
giving
was
me the chills.
I was so excited. you know, I'd never seen anything like it. And they took the box and went over my whole body with it, and
Yeah.
then they left again. They went back into the light, and the light went back out the window. And the next morning, my mother said I broke the fever, and I was healing. So they came and they helped it. Um, then I
Wow.
also
No, because I know about the black box, and we've never talked that much. And I just got through doing a show that's going with Debbie Cobble
Mhm.
that's going to premiere Saturday, and she talks about it, and I've seen it, and a number of the people have experienced the black box, and
Yeah,
it's quite striking. I got chilled, especially when you describe the
it's
color.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
it's
please go on.
so then under hypnotic regression, I wanted to find out about my so-called miscarriages. That was one of my major things because I was living in San Francisco at the time, and my husband and I we wanted to have one child. Until then, we
What
had.
what year was that
It started must have been around 1980 when
in
it
San
started.
Francisco? Yeah,
In
because
San,
I'm from San Francisco. I was born and raised there.
where?
On 47th Avenue in San Francisco, and then also in Marin
Houston.
County and Pacifica. I lived all around there.
Yeah, I lived on Pacific Avenue, just above. You know, I had beautiful view of the Golden Gate Bridge from my kitchen window and stuff. It was really cool apartment.
Yeah,
Anyway,
very.
and I lived there for 20 years. So that was really my second home, San Francisco. But anyway, we wanted to have a child, and I was getting up. I was getting um, 38 years old, something like that, and so I was pregnant. I was at the end of the third month, and I got a miscarriage, and that was a real heavy duty one, with a lot of cramping and a lot of blood, and then finally the little fetus came out. Okay, so my husband said, "Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll try it again." He didn't. Uh, as a
Wow.
woman, you go through a lot of emotional,
No kidding.
and so anyway, so we tried again. The next time, I was pregnant, beginning of middle of the third month. Go to bed in the evening, woke up in the morning, everything. No, maybe a little, didn't hurt or anything. Went to the bathroom, and there was just a little blood, and uh, and that was it. So I said, well, if there's a little blood, I better go and see. I belong to Kaiser Medical. So I went to Kaiser, and they checked me and said, there's nothing, your fetus is gone.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't, they checked me out, and they said, we don't even have to scrape you. It's all clean. The uterus was all clean. So, and that happened 4 times.
Yeah.
I had 4 of those miscarriages. And then finally I got my son.
Right.
So under hypnotic regression, I had to find out what happened there.
I have heard this so many times recently.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it gives you chills
yeah. And there's so
because
many
the people
women.
who are telling me this don't know each other. They don't know you, you don't know them, and they're telling me the same thing.
Exactly. And women normally, they don't talk about that. They think it's
No.
their fault. They think it's their fault. Their body wasn't right or something. So anyway, I with Yvonne, we went through all of that under hypnotic regression. So there I found out that actually my first miscarriage, that was a so-called a real miscarriage, they induced it. And I was told because they wanted to harvest me and get some future fetuses from me. So they induced the first one, which was actually the baby from my husband, and they didn't want that. so so I was taken up after that. I was taken up always before, artificially inseminated, and then was back here. And then after 3 months or so, was taken up again, and the fetus was taken. And that one was taken complete. Um, Under hypnotic regression, you relive everything. And so I was lying on the table, and they had a long, it was like beige, and it had a blue line on it, but it was very soft. It was like a rod, but it was very soft. And they inserted it, and I could feel it move around in my uterus. So it detached the everything from the walls of the uterus, and then they pulled the baby out in the sack. And then there was a tall white came and grabbed it right away and rushed off with it.
A tall white what?
A tall white being, like a Pleiadian,
Okay.
on the ship. There's on the ship that I'm on. There's a lot of Pleiadians, Arcturians, and actually all kinds of them. But the Pleiadians are kind of more the one I have to deal with,
Hmm.
and also reptilian. Very nice one, by the way. and, and so
They're
anyway,
very interesting.
they are. I mean, there's all kinds of different ones, but the one I'm dealing with is he's very very gentle, very nice, and yeah. But
Can you describe his face?
the what?
Can you describe the face of the reptilian? Because I've had my own experience and I'm curious.
Well, let me see. I had one. I have some drawings here that let me see.
You can always send those to me too. So,
Yeah, here. Yeah, I'll send those all. That's how he looks like.
okay.
That's the one. He's not, but he's really, really kind. I have a young artist in Northern California that went to school with my son, and he did all the drawings for me. Um, so anyway, I had this. So I lost my train of thought.
Well, you were talking about all the different types on the craft that you mostly dealt with the Pleiadian, and
Yeah,
uh, that's the one that the fetus was handed off to.
yeah. Well, I found out that I have a Pleiadian lady that is always there for me. Ever since I was a child, she's in charge of me. And so, and I found out her name is Uru. And Uru is tall. She's maybe around close to no, close to 6 feet tall, and has white hair. All the Pleiadians on the ship seem to have white hair, and they're cut on shoulder length. And so she's always there when I am taken up. She always greets me there and brings me back when I'm being sent down again. after. And it's really strange because it's like a hallway at the end of a hallway, and there's no doors around, just the end of a hallway. And on the left side, when we walk into it, there's a like a niche, like a roundish thing out of the wall. And when we come there, a board comes out, and you sit on that. So I sit on that, and the next thing I know, I'm back in my bed. So that's how I'm being transported.
Can
And when
you
I come
describe?
up, I'm also in that hallway.
Can you describe the hallway and the room you went into as far as the color, um, what the floor felt like on your feet?
The color is kind of a light beige-ish color. The
Hmm.
lighting in the ship is really very soothing.
Hmm.
Um, and the floors, I just walk on a barefoot always, and it seemed to have a little it's not cold or anything like that. It's just very pleasant to walk on. I don't have anything. Um, I know though, and that is lately I've been doing research on that kind of a little bit scientifically with a neurosurgeon in Switzerland and stuff.
Hmm.
I found out that after a while, my white lady Uru comes and says, it's time to go back. So when I'm on the ship, a lot of times I'm with a hybrid baby program. She said, it's time to go back, and then I have to go back. I think I found out why. Um, because the oxygen on the ship is not quite sufficient for us to stay up there all the time. And so after a certain time, we have to go back. Otherwise, we're going to have oxygen deficiencies and health problems. And so we're sent back. And I've done a study on that. Um, my mind wants to scientifically prove things as much as I can. And with the neurosurgeon in Switzerland, he gave me a ring as I put on when I go to sleep, and it records the sleep pattern. And and I've done a study with Yvonne on that. I took, okay, I'm going to show you. My sleep patterns are very erratic. See, this one is a good one. That it's only blue is only good breathing. This one here is a lot of red, and that's where you miss where you have oxygen deficiencies.
Wow.
And I took I'm doing it every night. I have a thing that and with Yvonne, we took 4 of the blue ones and 4 of the oxygen deficiency dates, and we went under hypnotic regression. We went to each one of them. And I found out that where the oxygen deficiency is, I was taken onto the ship because there the oxygen is not as it should be for me, and I have oxygen deficiency on the ship. So that's why they send me back then after a certain time. The straight blue ones, where I just sleep very quietly and breathe very quietly, that is the nights I'm taken out of body to the Galactic Federation. So my body stays here, just sleeps and just breathes, and I'm gone. And that's why I don't move in my bed. I just lie there, and that's it. Normally, after 2, 3 hours, I have to get up, go to the bathroom. You know how it is
Yes,
when you
we
go.
all do.
But if I lie for 4, 5 hours straight, I'm gone. I know that.
Right. I recently, because my experiences are ongoing weekly, um, I went to bed at 9:30, and the next thing I knew, it was 4:04.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
never once got up to go to the bathroom. I was
Mhm.
completely blacked out, and I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
But I knew one thing: they had been here. There's no way I could. not go to the bathroom in all that time. You know,
Same here.
I've had bladder surgery 2 years ago, and it's never been quite right. And I usually have to every couple hours or so get up and go.
Yeah,
That was a big alarm red flag to me.
yeah.
Also, are you aware that how many people have talked about the oxygen levels and that other people are have know exactly what you're talking about, myself included? Are you aware of that?
No, I've never heard that before, you see.
No, there are. And if you think about Travis Walton's case,
Hmm.
the Pleiadian types were wearing helmets on their head, and I always wondered why they'd be wearing the helmets on top of on their heads um, on board the craft. Uh, Travis never complained about the oxygen levels there. Maybe they had increased them, and they're too high for the Pleiadians, and that's why they wore the helmets. It's just a guess, but listening to you, it was something that came to my mind. I thought that might explain well that and also hygiene, but really something's going on there with those
Yeah,
helmets.
yeah. And something is going on with the oxygen there because
Yes,
that
I
can
agree.
is it because that is so distinct. I can tell every time there's a lot of red in my sleep pattern, and I sleep for like 4 hours without any break. That I've been on the ship, and that, like I said, this happens a lot.
And
Um,
everyone recently
yeah,
are
we've
are
been
saying
taken.
the visits are less physical, and it's more of them leaving their bodies and joining with the visitors in that way, as opposed to the physical visits. I hear this over and over again. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware that more are taken out of body, but on the ship, I'm still taken with my body because I'm working with a hybrid program. When I go up there, Uru takes me to the babies, and I can show you. I'll send you those pictures if you want to.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this one here, for instance, I have to figure out how to put it.
You're there.
That's
You're
what the
being closer.
pardon.
You can come closer. But
Um,
if you send them to me, I will cut them in as you're doing that. But I
yeah,
still want to see them. So those are the spheres on the wall. Or that's where the babies are.
those are the fetuses when they take them from the women. They're put in there, and the whole wall is full. You see,
Oh
it's
yeah, I know all about this. The tanks that I saw, they were rectangular shaped, and they're just a whole bunch of them. I
yeah,
mean,
a
a
whole bunch.
lot.
And then
Yeah,
later on, that's how they're being raised. Then they're hanging from the ceilings, and um, and the babies are in there, and the umbilical cord goes through the ceiling, and then they're fed from up there somehow. And I was shown there, and I was shown. I asked one time what happened to my babies, and she said, "This one is yours." So I put my little love on that one. And then later on, they're in cribs, and they have bodysuits on because I asked them, "How do you feed them?" And she showed me there's a little hose coming out, and it wriggles around and finds the mouth of the baby and plugs in, and then the baby starts
yeah,
sucking. And I
yeah.
said, well, you clean it, and it has a bodysuit on, and it opens in the back, and it has to go, and everything is, and the crib opens, and everything is sucked up and closed again, and no dirty diapers. You see, and and
Works for me.
that's me sitting in the chair there with a little baby, a hybrid baby, and the gray one comes and brings me another one and takes that one back,
Right.
and and this is the whole room here full of them. See, all the babies.
And they bring the mothers on board from time to time to hold those babies. Is that not
Yes,
correct?
I think so. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's been taken
Yeah,
up.
they
I
bring them in on board too.
Yes, and the thing is, they found out that the babies do a lot better with human contact. So I sit there and I just had the baby and I cuddle it, and some of them are hybrids, not only with humans and Pleiadians, they are also hybrid. I have some Even with reptilians, some of them have little tails and things, and some of them with grays. But they're babies, they're cute.
Yeah.
And I cuddle them and play with them, and then a little gray comes and brings me a new one, and I play with that, and until Uru comes and tells me it's time to go. And
Do they dress you in anything particular when you're handling the babies?
no, no,
Because I remember a white robe, and I
no,
remember seeing a whole bunch of other people in white as well holding the babies.
no.
So,
I'm just because also I've had I found ever since I had hypnotic regressions with Yvonne, she told me to document everything. So every time I find something on my body, like last night, I was taken here, and I don't know if you can see that here. I've had some
yeah,
marks.
I can see it quite well. I
Yeah,
mean, that when I don't know, can you see that little
yeah,
V?
I see that. Yeah,
You can see the dot underneath it?
four
Yeah,
dots. Yeah, three dots, and then another one underneath. Yeah.
yeah.
hmm Yeah, they get to the, but
I guess we belong to the same club, huh?
they told me they
Here,
told me
you
to
can let me
document
in.
everything. So so I found pinch marks under my boob because under my pajama top I don't have anything else. So when you
Hmm.
hold the baby in your left arm,
Hmm.
and then the little arm sometimes gets under my pajama top, and it just held on to my boobs and pinched it. I had real pinch marks,
Huh.
and you know,
Huh.
so things like that, really strange. Um,
I don't know if it's so strange or not. I see stranger things in the news every day that are so unbelievable
yeah,
that
that's
it makes all of this really believable.
yeah,
Because nothing in real life can be that crazy, and it is, and it's our own people. But I
yeah,
digress.
yeah, that's true. But I have four children. They took four of my fetuses, and I found out I have four children, one boy and three girls. Ja is the boy, and he's of course he's grown now, and he works on the ship that I'm still being taken to, and I see him periodically. Then I have uh, three girls, Septi, Rafti, and Kamu. And Kamu is more like me, has a rounder face and darker hair. And
Uh-huh.
she's now a commander of another spaceship. She used to just travel in another spaceship, but she became the commander. And Septi and Rafti are on a different planet. They are populating another planet. And so they're getting plants and animals there to populate the planet. And they've already have three settlements there and stuff. So that's what they are doing. Um, but that is, I've had contact with my children all through growing up, their growing up stages, and which was really nice to know. And one time under hypnotic regression, we went to a date, and I was sitting with them in a room. Oh, and I have to say one thing. On my ship, the Pleiadians, they try to keep babies from the same mother together like brothers and sisters or siblings. They found out that the babies do better when they know they have a little some siblings around, and they have somebody to have closer contact to. And so they're keeping them together. So when I was taking up my four, were- they're pretty close together because I was 3 months pregnant. Then they took the fetus, and another month or two, and then another a month or two between the next pregnancy and another 3 months. So every 5 months, I had practically they took a fetus, and
Wow.
so so they're close together in age. And so I came into the room, and they were sitting there playing when they were maybe about 4 years, 4.5 years old at the time. And I sat down with them and we played. And then the boy, Jaw, he's very inquisitive. He said, "On your planet, how do you get from one point to another point? So I told him, well, we fly. If it's far away, we fly. He could understand that. And then I said, if it's closer, well, we have cars and motorcycles and bicycles and things. He had no idea what I was talking about.
And broken down Fiats.
Broken down Fiat, yeah.
Our VW buses in the shop too.
You what?
Uh,
Your VW bus?
yeah, 71 VW bus. It's also in the shop, having a new engine put in it. So
Well,
uh,
that's what I
that's
had.
oh
A
yeah,
VW bus. We traveled all through Africa on it. We went with a
they're
VW
very
camping.
reliable. Yeah.
Yeah, we went from Frankfurt, Germany, all the way to Cape Town, all the west coast of Africa. We drove down. Took us a year and a half.
Wow.
I have been in a dugout canoe up the Niger. I've physically been in Timbuktu.
Wow.
We went to Timbuktu. That was cool.
Timbuktu, actually in there. Can I show you a couple of pictures?
Yeah.
Okay, so I worked with Yvonne as well, and I
Hmm.
did, God, maybe 30 sessions or more with her during the 90s. And she always asked me to document everything. And
Yes,
she
she did.
she
With
knew I
me.
was an artist. She said, "Can you please draw what you see for me?" The one encounter that I clearly remember with a reptilian, he looked like this.
Hmm. Oh, a reptilian.
And he
Okay.
was sitting on a table next to me. Well, I think he was. I mean, his skin was very rough. When I felt his leg on my leg was bare because I was just in a pair of underpants and a t-shirt. And I tried to get off the table and he put his leg on me and said, "Where are you going?" He didn't move his mouth, but I heard him say, "Where are you going? You're not going anywhere."
Hmm.
But I never forgot the face. And so I illustrated it right away the next morning. That's in 1994. Um,
May I make a comment to that one?
yeah,
I think he's not a pure reptilian. I think he's a hybrid with maybe gray because the
may,
reptilians have longer. The ones that I encounter have longer, uh, elongated heads more.
right.
And,
Yeah,
but the hands are perfect. I mean, the hands are just like they have three
yeah.
three
And
fingers.
those nails can scratch too.
Yeah.
Now, I've been shown babies many times in tanks. I've never seen one more grown up. And except one time, they introduced this baby to me, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see how the gray was with it. It was very
Mm-hmm.
kind and gentle, and I drew that for Yvonne. I never forgot it, um, and I'm pretty sure I knew they had taken material from me and material from one of the members in her group, and she had red hair and blue eyes. I remember.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking that that had something to do with that. And then I've done a lot of drawings of the tanks. The tanks I saw back then in those days, they were shaped this way. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the little grays, not the taller ones, were showing them to me like, this is really important and this is what we're doing, and they felt that I really should be proud of being involved in this. So the date on it says 2019, but it was actually done in '94. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I thought I'd share those with you.
Yeah. Well, here on my ship, they're hanging in sacks from the ceiling,
Yeah,
and they are taken out and putting into the cribs. And just 2 months ago, I was taken up. It was with the last hypnotic regression I had with Yvonne. I went to the back to one date, and I was just very quickly taken up. And Uru said, "I want to show you something." And you see the room where all the babies were in the cribs. Well, after a while they get bigger, and when I come into the room, most of them will sit up and say, "Here, me, I want to be taken." So she told me when they took the babies out of all those cribs into the next stage of their being, and it was amazing. They had the babies float up, and the whole without the crypts. The crypts stayed out, just the babies, just the bodies. They floated them all through the room together into the wall opened to the next room, and they floated them into the next room, and there they had little seats for them. And they were put back into their seats. That was their next step. Instead of lying down, they were going to sit up. And so they floated the whole flew. I don't know how they did that or what. I have no idea. They just floated them over, and everyone had their seat, and they put them down gently into their seats, and that was it. And she
Do
said, "I
do
just wanted to show you that."
do you remember? Do you ever remember being floated by them yourself?
I had one time, but it was very. Um, I think I was floated out of my bed because I was, but then it was cut off. I guess they realized I wasn't quite shut out. And at one time I had the feeling of floating,
Right. I've
but I
felt it many times. That they have two methods that I know of, and I've discussed this with Susie Henson, that they use a light, uh, and then also if they don't have the light, they themselves have the ability to float you using
mhm,
their consciousness alone, just by using consciousness.
I believe you. Yeah, they
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, really, but
yeah
because we
yeah
know so little about consciousness and how to utilize it.
yeah
uh, for things we can't even imagine. But we
yeah
will one day, I hope. I think this is what we're working towards. I think, well, that's the thing I want to ask you is that um, what I get from the visitors is that this is something being done to improve the human condition, if not to upgrade us um, into something more compassionate and less hateful and aggressive so
yes
that we can survive. And they've been doing this for a long time, not just on Earth, but many other worlds. Do
yeah.
you have any sense of that?
Well, okay. I gotta tell you one thing. I've also,
Sure.
in the last few years, I've also been taken to the Galactic Federation, to Galactic Council, out of body. That's when I have just the blue line and I'm being taken, sleep
Right.
line, I'm
Sure.
taken out of body. There, I have they gave me a job, and I have a little guide. Oh, no, he's not little, he's actually taller than me, but he looks kind of strange. See, that's my green guide. He has very slinky arms, but
Wow. Fascinating. This is all new to me, but you know what? Of course, you're going to send me these pictures so I can cut them into the edit. But
yeah,
uh, this is great because I'll be curious to see if anybody else out there recognizes something like that because they usually
I'll
do.
tell you while we're at it. I'll show you a couple more. They're sending me to other planets because they're telling me some of the population of other planets, they've done away with emotions and feelings, and so they have problem procreating. And
Yeah.
I said, well, why should I go to bed with somebody that I don't care about? I'd rather go golfing or whatever they do. And so I'm being
Hopefully not
sent
all.
with my green guide. I'm being sent to other planets and have to talk to the leaders to tell them to nurture again feelings and emotions in their people so that they will start procreating again. And so
Not only that, being creative beyond that, being creative, being,
yeah, yeah,
I think intelligence, I know human intelligence, I myself craves creating. Every day I get up, I want to make something, create something because it uplifts people. It
mhm,
uplifts me.
yeah,
Passion is really important.
yeah,
But
that is,
unfortunately, passion can lead to aggression. So it's a very fine line of being able to balance that compassion and those emotions and avoid aggressive tendencies, which can lead to harm and wars and everything else.
yeah. I'm just going to
That's
finish showing you
sure.
there's another being there. They have four arms, and then on another one we had those beings. They were kind of a little scary.
Oh,
ahead.
that's very interesting. Are you familiar with Betty and Drazen?
No.
Okay, because
Then
she
this is one
she
from.
had illustrations in her book of things very similar to that.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah.
this one here, this one is. No, why don't? This one is a being from a different dimension, and that I met just recently when I was up on the ship, and Uru said we have a date, and we went to my son's room. He is studying basically the universe. He has a big room with a huge windows, glass wall. You can look into the universe out there, and so I see him more often when I'm up there. And she said, so we come to him, and this being was there. And my son introduced him. He said he's from a different dimension. He didn't say which dimension. He didn't specify that. And he said, I'm in contact with their planet and with the people. And this um, being came here and it wanted to meet somebody from the third dimension. And I said, "Oh, I'll bring my mom up." you know. So so there I was, and then this being asked me, and the amazing thing was, and I looked into this being's eyes, and a huge flood of love came out. I mean, just just it was overwhelming. And then he asked me if I would lend him my arm, and I did. And he put, it was really strange. His hands were just round, and the thumb was also round, but a little smaller, like two little clams. And he had nothing in there. And then he just flipped his arm in a certain way, and a device materialized in his hand. And he put that around my arm, and it didn't hurt or anything. And it just, I could feel it pulsating and doing something. And then after a while, he took it off and he said, "Thank you." He said, "Now I have all the data I need from a third dimension person."
Wow.
And so he took that with him to whichever dimension things like that pop up during hypnotic regression. It is absolute, because I had a mark on my arm from that thing that he put around.
Right.
And so that's when I go to these, and these incredible things come up. But I wanted to tell you something else, and this is from the Galactic Federation, from the Galactic Council. I'm being told that our planet, as such, is dividing like a cell in the body. It's the core is dividing slowly, and then the rest of it goes in, and then they pull apart. That's what's happening to our planet right now. And the one part of the planet is going to stay in the third dimension with all the young souls and the dark souls. The young souls, they need to learn. They need to learn what war and killing and all that is, so they know for future references what this is all about. The other part is going to go into the fifth dimension. Nobody talks about the fourth. I don't know why. Never heard anything about the fourth dimension. So we're going to go into the fifth dimension, and there's going to be no war and fighting anymore. It's going to be, yeah, and we're going to develop the planet and live with the planet.
And there won't be
So
any time anymore because the fourth dimension, I believe, is time.
that could be, yeah, that could be,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's what I'm being told. That's what's happening. That's why we have so many earthquakes, so many hurricanes, and the weather is going crazy because the planet is slowly dividing.
But as it does from this dimensional perspective point of view, if you're out in space looking back at the Earth, you wouldn't see that taking place because the division is happening into another dimension.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly, exactly.
How come I know that? I know an upgrade's going on. I know that the intention of the visitors, all of them, um,
And I want to
are
shout
good.
to you, and I want to tell you another thing that happened to me.
Okay.
Um, I was on a hypnotic regression with E1, and I was under the regression. I was with the Galactic Council, so I was out of body there. And under the hypnosis, when we went back to that date, I and I had a young guy sitting here. He filmed, he recorded everything on the session. So when I when they sent me back, I had problems getting back into my body.
Oh, yes.
And I had so much problems that I was sitting in the chair here under hypnosis, and I was leaning up and I was calling, help, help, I can't get in, I can't get in. And then Yvonne stopped the um, hypnosis because she said, you don't have to go. You are in your body now, but you don't have to go through all the anguish again. And I remember that day because that day I was, when I woke up in the morning, I felt like I was floating up under the ceiling. I was looking down at my little desk down there, and my little chair and things. And I had the whole day, it took me a whole day to kind of
Get back.
ground myself again. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I mean, it's like putting on a heavy overcoat or something. You feel this weight, and after you're out of your body and you go back in, and especially now our bodies are older, we feel a lot more than that. And it can take me 3 4 days just to sort of feel whatever normal is again. And then
Yeah.
I kind of forget about it and I go on about my business, and then it happens again, and I know when it happens. And I think when I feel the worst physically after an experience, it's when I have been taken from my body and I've been put back in.
Hmm.
It's kind of a shock. If I'm taken physically, I feel tired and I know something happened, but I snap to a lot quicker.
Yeah. Well, that night, that time when I was gone was an interesting one too. Um, I know a Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
Hmm.
His name is Camus, and he's also with the Galactic Federation. He's out there, and we've met several times before, and so we know each other. And one time I was taken up to the Galactic Federation, and instead of sending me to another planet, they said my green guide was there, and and Camus came, and they said we're going to send all three of you together to the planet of the Bigfoot, Sasquatch. So, and they are in the fifth dimension. So we were beamed there. However, they do that. We had to stand together, and my slinky guy, the green one, he has very long, slinky arms. He put them around, to
Right.
hold us together. And so we got there to the planet. It's very lush and very green. And there were some 3 or 4 Bigfoot waiting for us. So then they start walking through the jungle thingy. And of course, me and my green guide, we couldn't follow them as fast as they were walking with their big steps. So they looked back and they saw that we were way behind and come back and pick us up and just carry us.
Uh,
And, and so then we come to a big clearing and there's a whole bunch of them standing there. And so we were talking and we were having fun and we were just, showing us. And they told me that they used to come a lot to our planet to have their babies here because with the gravity being, it was easier to have them here. And they would stay here until they were about teenagers, and then they would go back to their planet. So they would have a lot of room to forage around and raise them here. And but now with all the people on the planet more and more they're invading now, and especially now with all the flying over and the drones and what have you, they can't do that anymore. So they're procreation has decreased, and so that's what we were talking about. And but they told me how they used to live here for raise their children here. And so finally they said, okay, it's time to go back. So we were picked up again and carried back to the place where we landed. And then we were sent back to the Galactic Council. And we got there, and the council right away sent me home. And then that's when I had the problem getting back into my body. And the next time I was taken up, they actually just took me up to apologize. They said, the last time we let you stay at the with the Bigfoot for too long. You should have been back earlier. And we apologize, and we did not adjust the time properly for you to come back. I guess you can stay longer, but they have to adjust our physical timeline somehow. And so also did the Kamu. He also came and apologized for that because they knew that I had a heck of a problem getting back into my body. So that
Was your conversation with them telepathic as
oh
opposed to?
everything is telepathic. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times you don't even know the name of a. I don't even know. Some of them don't even have names. They do telepathically. You have the energy, um, feel of their energy, and you know exactly who it is. So yeah,
It seems that telepathy and many of the people having these experiences as they get older is becoming more frequent, increasing in its power. And I've noticed it myself. I can hear, well, ever since I was a child, I could hear people thinking. I
oh
thought
yeah,
I was hearing them talking, but my mother later explained to me that I was not to eavesdrop and not to do that, to shut that out. And then she never said anything about it again because I was asking her what those people were talking about 4 tables away at her restaurant. And she just sort of looked at me like, okay, you have the family thing. Don't, you have to be selective. I thought I was hearing them though. And I realized today that I was hearing what they were thinking.
yeah. I asked them once because I don't have any recollection of anything, you know, physically here.
Hmm.
Like I said, I just go under hypnotic regression and have to go back and find out. Um, I, I have missing time instances and stuff like that, but that I can't explain. But I have no recollection of anything here. And I asked them once, why is that?
Yes.
Why
Yes.
can't I know it? And they said it is to protect you here because you're supposed to live your life on the planet.
That's right.
And so, yeah, so that's why
I should ask them, why am I allowed to remember? But I think I know the answer to that before I um, ask it, because that's why I'm here right now with you doing
yeah,
this
yeah,
this conversation. They want this. I need to remember in order to be able to share it with other people in the
yes.
community. A lot of them don't remember either without hypnosis,
I,
and then there are millions more that have no memory at all. They are doing exactly that. They are living human lives,
mm,
unaware that
yeah,
they agreed to come here and do exactly that.
yeah. I was going to tell you about just very quickly about. I had three times that I remember having missing time periods in my life.
Hmm.
Once as a kid, being on vacation and falling asleep under a cherry tree, you know. Um,
Oh,
then another time, I was when I was 13, I was living in Canada, and we were blueberry picking in the hills. My sister, a
hmm.
friend, and me. And I woke up lying in between the blueberries, and I heard my sister calling, and I said, yeah, I'm over here. Where have you been? We've been looking for you for 2 hours. Well, that's the time they took me up. I just got my period. They examined me, my first gynecological examination I had on the ship. And they examined me, and that's when they put my implant into my head. I had to put my head down, and they tried putting it in from behind here, and they
Hmm.
couldn't do it, so I had to up there and they went through my neck, and I have an implant here that shows up on my MRI here. Yes.
I have one in my ear.
See here,
Wow.
you don't have square things in your brain normally.
No, 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 you don't. And be sure to send me a image of
Yeah,
that as well.
and then I
So
found out because I lost my hearing, and they did an MRI, and that's how I found out about the implant. And I got that when I was 13. Uh, so, but and then the third missing time thing was my dentist was in Tijuana, and I used to drive down on Sundays, 12, 14 hours down to San Diego from Northern California.
right,
Monday I went to the dentist. Tuesday I was back on the road driving home. So going from San Diego through LA over the Grapevine down into the valley on I-5, 99 turns off. And normally then I have to, within the next 50, 60 miles, I have to gas up. The next thing I know on that one trip, all of a sudden I'm near Stockton. That's 3.5 hours drive away. I said, how in the heck did I get here? But there was a lot of traffic, and I had to really focus on traffic and getting them through the Sacramento area. Just pushed it behind me, and then after Sacramento, I had to gas up there somewhere. But that was very confusing to me. And
yeah.
under hypnotic regression, I found out they took me with my car in broad daylight up, and yeah, I
Was
was
that the Volkswagen?
no, no, no,
Oh,
no, that was the Volkswagen, not here. and uh, and they took me up, and they healed my knee. I was supposed to have surgery on my left knee, and they put some kind of a spongy thing on it, and it started working and doing, and it didn't hurt or anything. It was just working, and they took it off again. And the next day, the swelling was down, and I had a pre-op, and the doctor said, your knee looks fine. I don't think we have to do any surgery right now. And I'm still walking on that knee. See,
yeah.
and so they healed me. That was one of the missing time things that was really incredible.
Wow.
And I also have to say there are other aliens out there
Oh,
that,
yes, there are.
and they have one time I was taken, and I had I'll show you I'll send you the picture too.
Yes,
I'm on
please.
the side here, pinned on a slab, and this is Uru coming in with 4 huge grays, and she had to rescue me. But I actually found out about it. Let me see if I can get that now. I had no, I don't. I have to send it to you. I had a
Yeah, there
mark.
are huge grays. They're definitely tall, tall grays. I've been dealing
Yeah,
with one all my
and
life.
they were like bodyguards, and they took me off that slab. And the reason I got to that was because I had a really strange mark on my no, how do I get there? Oh, here we go. Body markings here. I've got to show you this one because this one was really strange. Here. I woke up one morning with this mark on my arm.
Wow.
And I said to Yvonne, let's go to that day. We have to find out.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what happened. The first thing under hypnosis, I said, this isn't right, this isn't right. And so I was pinned to the slab. And then I was getting more and more agitated. There were little grays running around and doing things and never paid any attention to me. And I couldn't move, only my eyes. And so then finally, telepathically, I called out, Uru, Uru, where are you? This isn't right here. And then I heard her answer, I'm coming. And after a little bit, she came in, like on this picture, she came in with those 4 tall grays. And the little ones, they just scooted against the wall and didn't do anything. And they took me off, and we walked away, and they surrounded us, the big grays. We walked away, and then I got unconscious. And when I came to, we were on our ship, and I had to go into a rounded tunnel that had very intense blue light in it, and I had to go into that and stay there for a little while. And then Uru said, "You can come out." I came out on the other end, and there was a round disc above me with orange and yellow light pulsating. And I had to stand under that for a while. And then she said, "Okay, you can come out now." And I said, "What was that all about?" She said, "You had radiation poisoning. We had to clean you, and I'm not going to take you to the babies today. I'm going to take you straight home." So
Wow.
that's where that mark came from.
Huh.
That's how I find out about what's happening to me at night,
Wow.
you
Yeah,
know?
I haven't done a session with Yvonne in years, and I remember most of it, but I'm very often blocked. If I try to remember, if I try to pry into it, because they know I'm very good at it, they make me sick to my stomach. And
Oh,
the minute I start feeling feel nausea, I stop. I stop trying to do it because I don't want to get sick. And
of course.
that's all in their hypnosis. I know it is. And it's like, that's a way to keep me from prying into it. They say, you will know and remember what happened when it's time. And that's it.
Hmm.
So, Barbara,
Well, and sometimes it might also be, Steve, that like talking to people like me, things come up in your subconscious. Oh yeah, that really sounds familiar, and that sounds familiar. So maybe that's what you have to go through.
maybe that's why it's what you said about the planet splitting in two, seemed like it was in my database for some
Mhm.
reason.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
yeah. Barbara, before we end this conversation, is there
Mhm.
anything you'd like to share with not just our audience, but the community, the family, the people that have these experiences across the world, and that you'd like to impart on them from your experience?
Well, okay. I would say if you have anything happening in your life that you cannot really account for, that you cannot understand, um, if you, how should I say, I'm a person I want to know because I'd rather have even negative things, I rather know and then I can deal with it. I would say don't be afraid because you're still here in a way, but find out what happened to you. If you had miscarriages, find out that you cannot explain. Find out what happened to your babies. I am very, very fortunate. I know my children up there, the babies they took from me, where I thought I had miscarriages. They took my babies, and I know them. They're grown persons now. They're beautiful individuals. So give them a chance. Give them a chance. I would, and open your mind to the to what's happening around us. There's so much happening around us that, yeah, we have no idea.
This happens every time. You're back.
Yeah.
That's very good advice. And before we get cut off, because it happens almost every time, and we lose connection. I just want to thank you so much for what you're doing, your new book that's coming out.
Oh, yeah, my
Uh,
book. I didn't show you. Look at this.
yes, wow,
My Life with Aliens. One Body, Two Lives. And it's going to be eventually translated into English. We're working
that'll
on
be
that.
handy because I don't speak German, but I wish I did. It's a wonderful language. We do live two lives. As I've said to Whitley just recently, we live in two worlds,
Yes.
and I think that every human being, every consciousness needs to understand that you do live in two worlds. In fact, you do live in more worlds than that. And that is a normal state of being. Living in only one world and believing what goes up must come down and that everything's flat is not a good thing.
Yeah. But I also believe that the ones like us, we are older souls. And the young
Yeah.
souls, they have to go through this very strict third dimensional routine of everything that's happening here. because they have to learn from the ground up. And if
Yeah.
we wouldn't know anything about wars and killings and all that, we wouldn't be here what we're doing now, you know.
Yeah. Barbara, thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Steve. It was a pleasure. I always admired you when you did your workshop. I always watched that. You had that on, one would send it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
every week, your workshop and with the enterprise model and this and that. And I love that.
I love all things space travel.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much.
Okay, and say hi to Mary.
Oh, I will, of course.